Thor is in there. Hulk. Hulk, yeah.
Yeah.
Thor, though.
I loved that section where it was like a little excerpt of Rocket and Hulk buddy comedy.
Yeah. Thor, though.
Thor.
It was hilarious, but also incredibly heartbreaking.
It was. That's why doing something like turning one of your main hunks into the Big Lebowski was a move that worked, because you've all seen friends fall apart that way. Mm-hmm. And he sort of has a good excuse to fall apart.
Yeah.
And it was a fun way to get Taika Waititi into the movie.
Which he got to wear his pineapple shirt.
It was really fun. It didn't feel pandery.
Yeah.
And it was just like, so, they went so out of their way to make nods. They weren't even nods. They were just throwing the Big Lebowski at you. Pretty sure he had the same sweater in one scene. Like, they went very far into it.
Tony Stark literally, as he's walking
Calls
past him, is like, watch out, Lebowski.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. I thought it worked.
Oh, it was great.
It was fun. I like that. I know people were a little bit miffed they didn't skinny him up when he got his stuff for the end battle, but he got the braided beard. He did get a shine up. He just sort of didn't lose, his hard-earned fat.
What I loved about it is it braided his beard, it pinned up his hair, it gave him the armor that has the six-pack that just molded around his belly.
Squished over his gut, yeah.
Like it had the printed six-pack, but in the shape of a beer belly.
Even the prosthetic they used for him is the kind of fat that someone who has big abs gets if they go rapid, where it's just like, oh god, you can see abs at the top. There's so much fat. Why? How?
A lot. Like, I heard a lot of people just like, I don't know what to think about Fat Thor. I loved Fat Thor. And going into that, though, leading into the next phase, phase 4 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Thor to be on the Guardians of the Galaxy
team. Fun.
That's going to be so much fun.
I do hope it's not just a movie-length version of the scene at the end with the power struggle.
Right.
Because that was enough of that. It was funny, but I don't need a feature-length that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's going to be like the search for Spock. It's them trying to find Gamora.
Right.
But yeah, I too hope it's not just that power struggle.
Because those actors could be funny together in literally any other conversation than that one, which we've now had twice.
Yeah. Well, when I first heard Thor and Hulk were having a movie, I thought, oh, that's going to be conflicting, and it just turned into one of my favorite movies, just like a space buddy cop movie.
Right.
I hope James Gunn is a genius. He'll figure out a way to make it a great ensemble cast.
I'm so glad that Disney got him back on the project.
Yeah.
That was going to be a disaster if they'd kept him off.
Definitely.
Back a little bit in the story, I really appreciate that they threw a pair of point shoes on a chair in the foreground for Nat's breaking down at her desk scenes. If you know the character, it just said so much about the setting that there was a pair of point shoes sitting on the chair, like she's been dancing again. That doesn't mean nothing for that character. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So I liked that. It's never important to the story, but it was just a really nice piece of set dressing.
It really was. And that scene also has a possible hint towards Namor with the underwater earthquake and all that stuff. So who knows what that was. There's a lot of maybe.
Well, they did all their Endgame scenes, all of their end trailer scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
They didn't, which I thought was a baller move.
Yeah.
No end credit scene.
Well,
good move.
End credit sound.
Yes, which was just the sound of Stark making his first armor.
Right.
So it was more a callback than a, prediction, I guess. It's not the right word, but you get me.
I am so glad they didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was just, this is the end.
Yep.
This is the end of what this is.
Yep.
And I have a feeling like Spider-Man Far From Home is going to still kind of be in this storyline of the cleanup and
that's technically the end of phase 3.
Right. Yeah, that's technically the last one. But it's going to be that
the transitional piece
and transition into what
right
phase 4 or whatever it is.
I am really they handled Spider-Man well, especially in light of the fact that they killed Stark. They had his suit get fucked up and the guy that makes it die, which could be an interesting set piece for the next movie. Because, putting him as Iron Spider before even getting his second movie in is a lot, but now they've sort of taken the larger benefits of that suit away. Yeah. So I'm hoping that stays and is interesting in his movie instead of just getting ignored or being like, oh, the machines fixed it.
Yeah,
No,
I totally agree. And I think that's kind of the direction it will be. Because his suit gets fucked up.
Yes.
So, his mask gets ripped off. It's all the spider legs out the back get ripped off. His suit's busted by the end.
He's busted.
He's busted, yeah. Jeez.
He's also got this weird, horrifying Harry Potter thing going where he had nobody and then this mysterious Wonder Man comes and scoops him up and makes his life better and then gets murdered right in front of him and he gets to now somehow be this struggling male figure in said person's child's life. Trauma beater.
The other thing with the first showing, when the on your left comment was made, everyone was like, oh, and then that first spiral starts and like, oh, and everyone was expecting Strange. And when T'Challa walked through, literally everyone just went, and then the Guardians all came in and were like, and then Spider-Man hit and literally the crowd erupted. Erupted.
Yeah.
It was I'm getting goosebumps because it was just such an amazing moment.
It was so sweet.
Yeah.
The sweetest battle scene I've ever seen.
Every bit of that battle scene, that should be a textbook of how you do large scale superhero level battles.
Right.
Because there was pinpoints on each side. I mean, the good guy side had 20, but there was faces you could recognize on the other side. And so it wasn't just good guys facing faceless bad guys.
Right.
But it just threw the whole thing. I knew what was going on the entire time.
Yeah.
There wasn't a point where I was just lost in the spectacle of it, even though I could easily do that if I wanted to.
Sure.
I wanted to pay attention, and I followed every little bit of it, and it worked.
Gosh, there's just so much in this movie.
There really is. Oh, something I wanted to...
Yes.
2 things, actually. One, they have a perfect setup for the Loki spin-off series.
Yes.
Perfect setup.
Yeah.
And second thing, negative setup for the Black Widow series.
Yeah, I know.
She's dead.
I guess it's going to be a prequel series.
Are we finally going to figure out what the hell happened in Budapest?
Maybe.
That kind of thing? Or
who knows?
That was a cute comment, though. It's we're pretty far from Budapest, aren't we?
Really? If they do that, I hope they keep it the way that they've had those characters so far, which is non-romantic.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Because it's how rare it is that we'd get platonic male-female friends. Mm-hmm. It's insanely rare.
Yeah.
We are platonic male-female friends,
right.
And I have people question me about it because they don't see enough of it in media to know it can happen.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
It really is. And I feel like they did it so well in Endgame.
Well.
That love is brother and sister love.
They're this non-romantic, they're gonna make out before they die.
Right.
Kind of. There wasn't sexual tension before they die.
Like
it just was like, well, this is what this is. Bummer.
From beginning to end, you never question Hawkeye's love for his wife and his family.
Right, exactly.
Like, that's never in question.
Even when he's straight up murdering people
Straight up murdering.
Which actually, listen, I get the Ronin character got his little debut. Very fun. Well shot. Very well shot. Those scenes were some of the most beautiful. What I fail to see, at least in how they did it in the movie, is how exactly what he was doing was much different than any of the raids any of the movies have contained. Because it's not like they're holding punches and not killing people in the other stuff. Some of the characters are, sure.
I think what it was about is that he was just going out murdering. Like, it wasn't so much that... So, like, with the other raids they've done, there was a goal and people got killed along the way.
Sure.
His goal was just to eradicate the Yakuza, eradicate the Mexican cartel.
I get, but
yeah,
he's going for the Yakuza and the cartel. So...
Well, and I think that's why, like...
It was a little gray for how black they painted it in the movie. I get that the character is a dark character as written.
Right.
It just wasn't quite... And it would have been a real tone killer to have him just straight up, like, doing all of the sorts of things. But, you know, for me, it just felt a little bit like, well, yeah, I'll allow this to be as bad as it is, as they're saying, but what we were shown was kind of similar violence level to
well, and you're not wrong.
The other things.
You're not wrong. Though him slitting the dude's throat and you just watch the blood pour, that was kind of graphic for what has been previously shown comparatively. But I get your point. But it's also, of the things to gray over, that would be the one.
Yes, I don't think they should have done it differently.
Right.
It just, every time that he'd be like, you know what I've become, I deserve to die. You're like, well, but dude.
Do you? Do you really?
I mean, like, if we're talking comparatively, the sorts of things she's done, even though we haven't seen them on screen.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, this is not a good argument, Hawkeye.
I did, totally different note.
Yes.
I did also really appreciate the nod they had to the A-Force, which is the all-female Avengers team, with the getting the gauntlet to the end. I thought that was cool.
I did not mind that.
Yeah.
As you may have noticed, a lot of movies, in their attempt to be more progressive and cast female characters in a broader sense, have been doing a lot of pandery bits, which is fine. You have to have some pandery bits before everything can be normalized, blah, 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 but this did not feel pandery.
No. It felt like
even though
something that
perhaps
needed to be done.
That was the intention of the scene. They did it naturally enough to where I was like, cool, I like it.
Well, and they had... I think it also worked because there were so many fucking superheroes in play that taking all the females and putting them into one scene didn't leave a vacuum.
Right. And it wasn't like a 10-minute long, drawn-out sequence. It was like, here's what we've got to do, here's how it's going to apply, next vignette.
Yeah.
Which was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know how else... Fun maybe isn't the word, but you know what I mean.
I mean, but yeah, from beginning to end, this thing was a ride.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yes.
Whether you were crying or laughing
I
or just
spent a lot of the movie crying, but it wasn't all bad.
Can we talk about Captain America wielding Mjolnir?
No. We're not going to talk about that in this podcast. Yeah, that was badass.
Nerdgasm.
That was one of 2 times my Thursday audience applauded.
Yeah.
That moment, everyone's like, ah! And then the Avengers Assemble moment, everyone's like, oh my god, he said it!
I love...
Yeah, that was... I knew it!
I just loved how he wielded it very similarly to Thor, but it was very much different. A Cap thing. Yeah. Like, when he caught it like his shield. I loved that. And The scene where him and Thor are just wrecking shit around him, and they both throw and they both catch each other's.
Right.
And Thor goes, no, you get the smaller
little one. Yeah.